student government do differently? The answer was mandate office hours. The answer was listen to student concerns. I agree. This year, office hours attendance was not mandated. There was no accountability. Students had no idea about student government. Students had no idea that they could go express their concerns. This is where experience plays a role, and understanding the structure of student government. You have all these e-board spots, you have all of these chairs, and the vast majority of them were from that party. And so when you have all of these, chairs and people who delegate these tasks from the other side, and you have 20 plus students that are coming in being called senators, and you have all of these senators that try and raise their hand and have their voices heard and don't have their voices heard. Obviously, people who want to be student representatives are not going to do it under this administration. And that's what I wanted to address on that. Thank you.
Next question to Mr. Hijazi. How do you feel student government could meet the needs of non-traditional and graduate students?
I think that's a very good question, because one thing about our slate is that we don't just represent a specific demographic of people. If you look at our slate, we have people from all ages and all races on our slate. And I think one of the main concerns that a lot of the non-traditional students have who go to the COB building is that they feel that they're not involved. And I feel like that's part of the blame should be shifted on the past leadership in student government, because they want to sit here and say that they want to focus on programming. Well, why is programming only in the UC? Why is it only targeted towards the same 200 people semester after semester? I think that if we were to find a way to get the broader campus involved, such as the COB building, such as the engineers, I think that would address most of their concerns, and it would also kind of eliminate the commuter vibe that we have on campus.
Rebuttal to Ms. Chaudhary.
I'll just tell you what I feel about this non-traditional, how we're going to tackle this. What we're planning on doing is engaging these non-traditional graduate students before. Right now, we hold seats open for freshmen and transfer students. Why not have seats open for non-traditional and graduate students? Maize and Blue has currently a graduate student running with us as a senator. In the past, we've had a non-traditional student, a mother, she was married with 2 kids. That's as non-traditional as it gets on our e-board. So that we've already played an active role in reaching out to these non-traditional and graduate students, and their voices need to be heard as well as ours, and that's all I have to say. I yield.
The question for Ms. Chaudhary. What would you like to see the legacy of student government over time, and how would you as Vice President contribute to that?
The legacy that I would like to see student government leave on this campus is one of greatness and one of getting things done, consistency. Every year, something new that they have done for this campus community. And I want to see that when I come back in 10 years, I want to see that. I want to see, no more parking problems and food issues and things like that. I want to see a vivacious student life on campus. Student life has decreased a lot, and for me to see this increase would mean a lot. And as vice president, I want to work on student life. I want our campus to be known for what it is, for the leaders that we have, to be not always compared to Ann Arbor, to be our own entity and be like, we are the University of Michigan Dearborn, and this is who we are, and we're the best at who we are. And I yield.
Rebuttal, Mr. Hijazi.
For once, I'd have to agree with Marzia here.
Thank you, Sammer.
I have to agree that I wish that in the future when I come back, hopefully for alumni, that student government would be looked at differently than it currently is looked at. I think that the major problem with student government is that we're not taking the right approaches to getting things done. We've had the same issues for the last 4 or 5 years, and these issues are still going on. And I think the only way we could solve these issues is to start taking different approaches. For example, the parking lot issue. My opponents here have an idea with the parking lot to take pictures of faculty parking in student spots. Well, if I remember correctly, that was on the platform with the Maize and Blue Party 2 years ago as well. And if they would have accomplished that 2 years ago, we wouldn't be having a parking lot problem today. And I think what the difference between USA and Maize and Blue is that the USA slate can think outside of the box. We can take different approaches, and we've found out that these approaches do work. Thank you.
We now move to closing statements for both of the presidential candidates. Each will have an opportunity to rebut. We will begin with the closing statement of Mr. Berry.
Well, again, I thank you guys for all showing up today. And if I have anything else I have to say that I haven't already covered, I would ask you to look into the depth of, well, don't get associated with the actual drama. Just look into the platforms, the backgrounds, the historical information, the feasibility of the backgrounds, see which platform is more likely to accomplish what, and see whether the candidates, are qualified. Again, I thank you guys for taking the time and being here and, listening to it. Thanks again. I yield.
Rebuttal to Mr. Al-Nabalsi.
Thank you. Like I said, I've been involved since I was a freshman, and I wanted to state the methods that we have planned for accountability. We want, number one, attendance to be mandated. This year, there's a couple members that have never shown up to a meeting, and they're considered members. Second of all, we want each senator to be required to earn a certain amount of points every single month. And what that means is earning points by perfect attendance, doubling office hours, things like that. Third of all, we want to rate and give a kind of grading system to every senator, so that regardless, in all of these things, regardless of what party you're on, regardless of who you're working for, you will be required to do things for student government. And if you don't, you will be held accountable, and you will lose privileges and eventually be removed from office. That's the bottom line. From the inside, I am telling you that it's not really about, anybody can tell you, I want to accomplish this, I want to accomplish this. Check the history. Check the accountability. Check how attendance was mandated this year. Go check everything. And that's the true nature of how I feel student government will truly accomplish something. In terms of, my opponent talked about platforms, backgrounds. Check that out. That's the first thing I told you. Please go check that out. Check out the feasibility of these agenda items. Check out the feasibility of building a skywalk, or, trying to increase student life through things like, Salsa Week, Rock the Vote Week, things like that. Do your homework. It's all about the internals of student government, making sure that's something that works, that truly works, and having a student government that will be there for students. Check your history. What has student government done for you this year? How can we change that? Who has experience? Who doesn't? Who has experience outside of SG? Who doesn't? Check your history. Do your background. Don't just listen to what we're telling you. Thank you.
And Mr. Al-Nabalsi now has time for a closing statement.
Over the years, student government has been an organization where there has been drama, there has been politics. People come in the room. Like I said, the very first meeting I was yelled at by, and I was a little 16-year-old. I just got accepted into University of Michigan Dearborn. I was so excited. Before my 17th birthday, I tried to join student government. And all of these, juniors and seniors were yelling at me because, I walked in with Ledion Debra, who was a Maize and Blue member at the time. That's what we need to change. Accountability and bipartisanship. These are the two things that will change student government. Not only because of what I just told you about accountability, but second of all, students will no longer just come every Tuesday night and, just come to the meeting and forget about the meeting for the week. That's the problem. If you enforce some kind of structure where students will be, where representatives will be, whether they want to or not, because they are student leaders and because they are elected by students, whether they want to or not, they will be required to work for the students, regardless of what party they're on, regardless of anything that they're associated with. And honestly, I'm telling you, deep down, I've been involved for a long time. I know exactly what it takes to lead this organization. I am the right person for the job. I have nothing against my opponent except the lack of experience. And please do your research. Thank you.
Rebuttal to Mr. Berry.
With all due respect, for the lack of experience, I don't. Have you ever been president of an organization here on campus?
Yes, sir.
Which organization is that?
Are you talking about registered student organizations on this campus?
Yes.
Not in